What's your
I'm
name?
Mary Hancock.
And Mary, how long have you been connected with St. Ignatius Parish?
From the moment it started,
Real
1954.
1954.
When we were in the barn, as people call it.
Mm-hmm.
It really wasn't a barn. It was a gun shop, and it had a shed on the end of the gun shop. And so in order to make a chapel or church out of it, we borrowed an altar from one of the mortuaries and borrowed chairs and benches from the park district and the fire department. And so we set up a small church.
So could you tell me, over the years, what kind of things did you do, and what's your involvement in the parish been?
Oh my. Well, I think I started out as the nurse for the school children. Another lady, Betty Selesky, and I did all the screening, the vision screening, and so on and so forth. Where I figured out recently from the time my youngest entered till the oldest graduated, it was about 16 years. And then I was involved, of course, in the Martha ministry. Martha ministry was a ministry that helped people who were mourning, and we served lunches to them after their funeral and so on and so forth. And then I became really involved in the Altar Society, and that's where I stayed for the rest of my career.
Amazing.
My career.
Now, you mentioned being a nurse. I understand that you were a World War II nurse. Is that correct?
Yes, I was, Father. Yes, I was on Pearl Harbor, not at the time of the disaster, but right afterwards. Mm-hmm. I lost 2 brothers in the Pacific besides while I was there.
You've been involved at St. Ignatius for obviously many years.
Yeah.
Why do you stay involved?
Oh, because I love it. That's my spiritual home. Absolutely. I suppose because part of it, I got in at the very beginnings of it, and I feel as though I'm part of it. One of the pillars. I don't know if I'm one of the pillars, but one of the small boards.
Might be a nail.
I think we'll give you a pillar status here. Now, I realize it's an ungentlemanly thing to ask you, but would you share with people how old you are?
Yes, I'm 101.
Whew.
101 and almost a half.
All right. All right. Well, many more of those. Let me ask you one final question.
Yes. Father.
And that is, from all you've told me, you're a very generous lady. Where did you learn to be generous? Who taught you how to be generous?
Oh, well, if I am generous, it had to do with my mother and father. My mother and father raised her sister's 4 children, and anybody else that came around that didn't have a place to live or stay, she thought that they had housing within it. So, definitely my mother and father.
Great. Well, thank you so much for giving us your time today. We really appreciate it, and
Father.
really appreciate all of these years of service to the parish.
Well, thank you, Father.